that is the one thing I have learned already. There
Yeah.
is nothing halfway in what you're doing.
No, no. If you're going to do it good.
Tell us a bit about yourself, who you are, where you're from.
Right. Yeah, of course. This is so nice to be on the air, so to speak. So that's very good. Anyone who wants to listen about smart homes and smart automations, it's fun to talk, of course. But my name is Peter. I come from the northern parts of Sweden. I was brought up there. So I was brought up, on the mountains and in the forests of Sweden my whole life. And when I was 17, I joined the armed forces and been with the service ever since. And in 2008, I moved to Stockholm, the capital of Sweden. So that's where I and my girlfriend currently live. My main hobby is, watching movies, exercise, and, tinker with smart homes, for sure.
Yeah, given what I've seen, I wouldn't call it tinkering, but it's pretty high level stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah, it's all good fun.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, but you've done some very impressive things
yeah.
already. So
And
why
yeah,
did you get into it, Peter? Why did you
yeah.
get into home automation at all in the start?
Actually, I was actually thinking about this. Why do I like this? And I think it's all boils down to my my interest of movies, and one movie in particular. And I know many, you probably have seen it as well, but it's the Demolition Man movie from 1993.
Yeah. So all of what you saw in that movie basically started
Yeah,
the yeah.
because there's one scene where Simon Phoenix, the Wesley guy, he has hacked the I don't know, the head honcho's apartment or house, and when the head honcho enters the room, he says lights, and then Simon Phoenix sits in the darks and says, "No, this is not light. You have to say illuminate." So of course I have a routine that answers to illuminate, and as many others have, I'm sure.
If that was your basis for
Yeah,
starting, what was the
yeah,
first product that you went out and got?
yeah. Actually, it was actually that Edison bulb that we looked at earlier. That was the first light that I actually connected to a motion sensor. I don't think you can call it a Smartthings because it was only a motion sensor and then the light. So that was actually the first thing, and that was like mid 90s, I think it was, when we bought this apartment in 2011. I thought to myself, now's the time.
Yeah, and I think you were coming into a better time then too for
Yes,
products and things, right?
yes. But everything is connected around the Smartthings hub. So that's the main hub for me. And then I have connected the Philips Hue, and the Philips Hue has the RGB lights and the light strips and the motion sensors that I have in my. This is the movie room, and then in my bedroom as well. And then I have C-wave motion detectors pretty much everywhere in the apartment. The apartment is 65 square meters, so it's not that big of an apartment because I live in downtown Stockholm, so it's quite expensive to live here. So, but it's a nice apartment, I think. So I have a lot of stuff. I think I have like 6 Google Homes in the apartment.
In 65 square meters.
Yeah,
That's pretty impressive.
yeah, and I have this Google Home Hub, and I have this what's it called? The other brand.
Oh,
Uh,
the Lenovo or a JBL.
Lenovo Smart Display. Yeah, Lenovo
Yeah.
Smart.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I have that as well in the kitchen. So so I have a lot of Googles. I even have a Google Home in the bathroom. So if you want to listen to music in the bathroom, you can tell Google to play. And then I have, as you said, sensors everywhere, so I can detect when something happens. And 4 Arlo Pro cameras,
Mm-hmm.
even in the bedroom. But then the camera is pointed, pretty much quite high up in the apartment, so you can't see us walking around, but you can see the window where there's sensors. so I can have an eye on the sensor anyways.
That's a good way to put it in a bedroom,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If you have those, yeah.
Yeah. Harmony, a couple of Harmony hubs as well.
Yeah.
Having kind of difficulty managing the Harmony hubs because they're always switching between on and off, and I can't quite get it to work. And then I have Google Chromecasts everywhere, so to speak, on the screen, at the dinner table, in the movie room, and in the bedroom as well. A robot vacuum cleaner. That's one of the best purchases ever, for sure. So that's very, very good.
Which brand of one?
Nito.
Okay.
A robot vacuum something, 3 years, 4 years old, I think.
Yep.
And then I have some, these water leakage sensors underneath the dishwasher and the freezer and the fridge as well. Yeah, and the DNLA speaker connected to Smartthings, so I can get audio notifications. So I can hear what's going on, so to speak.
Yeah, so you're creating notifications through that connected speaker. Yeah. And then what is the voice that's coming out of there? You said it was like British, a female British, but
it is an app in Smartthings called Big Talker.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's a Big Talker app that connects it to Smartthings. Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Okay, and when you say DLNA for people, that's just a Ethernet IP addressable speaker?
Yes. And Smartthings is very picky about which speaker that can connect to Smartthings. Mm-hmm. So this is one of few speakers that natively connects to Smartthings.
Very cool. Very cool. So you went out and you figured that out.
Yeah.
How to implement all of that.
Yeah, and then I just bought it, so to speak, and it was a very easy process to implement. And it's so much fun, when you hear a voice says, attention, please. The fridge door has been open for 2 minutes. Please close the fridge door. I'm hoping to forget the fridge door, so I can.
That's hear. Pretty good.
Yeah, and we have this, zone detection with our cell phones. So when someone leaves the zone, so to speak, it turns off the TV and turn off all the lights and turn off the computer and everything. And when someone arrives, it does the opposite, so to speak. And then I have this audio notification. So when my girlfriend Pia is arriving, I get this notification that Pia is nearby, so to speak. So I know when she is arriving, so I can tidy up a little bit.
Yeah. Not be in too much trouble when she comes. I understand. Exactly. Yep.
Because I think that you shouldn't have to use your cell phone to control your smart home. You should use your voice or just movement, so to speak. So I think that's very important. Otherwise, you don't want to have a cell phone, because then it's easier to push a switch on the wall.
Yeah, it's not automation unless it's automation. Actually saving you that time, right?
And I think it's pretty stable. I don't have much trouble with my system, so I pretty much don't think about it that much. But when we enter the kitchen, the lights turn on, so to speak, and it's pretty much solid all the time.
Yeah, I don't imagine hearing your setup that you're having many troubles at all.
No, I don't. I had this freak trouble once with a 12 volts AC adapter that pretty much disturbed the entire system. And I'm not sure why it did, because it is a 12 volt AC adapter that was connected to a low voltage lamp.
You wonder about an EM field that it's generating. I mean, it's a little transformer.
Would be that.
And then the only other thing is, what's it doing inside your power, right? So it was connected physically to the wall and then it was coming out, or it was just a little battery case?
Adapter that you plug into the wall, and I had plugged it into a wall socket, a smart Fibaro.
Okay.
Plug. Yeah. So when I remove that and exchange it for another one, it all worked fine. So it could be the interference from the AC adapter itself. It must be that.
Well, but to affect your whole system, right? That's a
System went unstable, and I couldn't for my life figure out what it was, and it was driving me crazy. Once I exchanged that, everything has been super stable, actually, super stable.
Okay, for years, you would say, right?
You would say?
For years, you would say?
Oh, yes, for years. Yes. Yeah. And I'm trying to implement one thing at a time, so not to disturb the system too much.
Oh, that is really good stuff. So then your other component, I mean, you showed it here to me earlier, your action tiles.
Yes.
Sitting on that tablet.
And it's good because we have, sometimes we have visitors over when we're not home at the apartment. Some of our friends, not from Stockholm, come here and borrow the apartment. And it's very good to have that action tile.
Yeah, you've created a couple of control interfaces. That's what I'm hearing. You've created a couple of control interfaces that you don't have to think about. And, with the voice assistant, sometimes with the nomenclature, it can be difficult to remember what you're trying to do. And Smartthings, same thing. It can be difficult to remember, right? Yeah. And so you've tackled that in a couple of ways. When you talk about that speaker, kind of just coming out and telling you what's going on. And then, secondly, you've implemented the motion sensors that are really just dealing with everything for you from a lighting perspective and a presence perspective. And you've automated your cameras tied to those sensors. And then, action tiles giving you that visual interface if you need it to sit there and control the whole place. So you've done a lot of pretty impressive things.
We actually take this smart house for granted now, so to speak, that everything works and it's supposed to work.
Yeah.
And the final touch was when we installed a Fibaro light switch underneath our wall switches for the lights in the ceiling. We have these LED spots in the ceiling.
Yep.
And those you cannot replace with Philips Hue spots. So we had to have an electrician over. So he implemented these Fibaro switches, wall switches.
Yeah.
So that was pretty much the icing on the cake. So when he was here and that was done, everything is automated. I have it on all my windows and all my doors. I have this. So you cannot see a door switch anywhere because it is hidden.
Yeah. Somebody from the outside, you mean, can't see?
No, and not from the inside as well, because it's placed between the door and the frame of the door.
What a good implementation.
Yes, so it's totally invisible, and that's one of the unique selling points of that sensor strip, because it's totally invisible.
Very good.
And it's like 10 years of battery life. We actually had this incident once that actually brought up the need for security cameras. And it was before we had smart fire alarms or fire detectors. What do you call it in English?
Yeah, smoke or fire detectors. Yep.
Smoke detectors. We had, these regular dumb smoke detectors. And our neighbor was doing repairs in his apartment. And the dust from the repair work creeped into our apartment and triggered the smoke alarm.
Yep.
So one of the neighbors called me at work and said that your smoke alarm is triggered. And I had to, leave work to, go home and see what it is. And those hours when I didn't know what was actually going on in the apartment, that actually brought up the need to have cameras so you can have eyes in the apartment.
Yeah. No, that's a good story, right? And that's a good reason. Yeah, right there.
And after that, it was quite easy to buy some security cameras.
Yeah. It removes that stress, and that's a big component. Yeah. What do you think is your favorite automation you've ever set up then?
I must say the Blade Runner frame. I think that's, my piece de resistance in the apartment. Yeah. It is above the fireplace. It is this gorgeous picture. It's actually a printed or numbered picture from an official, so to speak, picture. So that's my main thing that I most enjoy looking at.
Yeah, I think that's a really nice way, actually, that you have it mounted in there, in behind. I think that it really is nice.
And that's basically if this and that routine that I've made.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because in if this and that, you can have an RGB loop with Philips Hue lights.
Right. So that's how you trigger it, is you ask the Google Assistant to actually turn that on, and you have a proximity, right?
Yeah.
Or
I can trigger it with a routine, but otherwise it starts automatically when one of us arrives to the apartment.
Right.
So it's always going RGB loop.
Yeah. Now, when she came back, did she love it as much as you did?
Oh yes. She's a huge film buff as well.
Okay.
So, yeah, and she enjoys this smart home for sure.